Hi everybody, my name is Rushen. I joined Godolphin in year 9, I think, when I was about 14 or 15, and I left in 2011 after finishing sixth form. I currently live in the Middle East, in Qatar, and I'm the HR business partner for Siemens. Just a bit of background about myself. As I said, I left Godolphin in 2011. I'm fairly sure lots of my teachers would agree with me that I wasn't the most dedicated of students. So as a result, I actually had to take a gap year before I went to university, which kind of turned out to be a bit of a blessing in disguise. As during that year, I did 2 really big internship positions, one working for Vodafone UK and one working for Hewlett-Packard. And if there's one piece of advice I can give you, it's get as much work experience under your belt as you possibly can. Not only will it help you look for the right job position for you, which if you're like me, I had not a clue what I wanted to do when I was still at school, no idea what I wanted my career to be. And I found those internships really invaluable when it came to kind of picking the position I wanted to be in. But it will also help give you a good feel for the kind of corporate culture and the working environment that you see yourself working in, which will help you pick a company in the future. So after I completed my internships and my gap year, I then got into the University of Manchester, where I studied management and leisure, which sounds like a slightly weird degree, but again, it was very, very beneficial for me. As not only did it cover a really, really wide array of topics, including legal, economics, finance, psychology, but the dissertation we had to do was based on work experience. So each year there was an amount of time during the academic year given to us where we could carry out internship positions. So for my second and third year, I actually worked for Vodafone in Qatar, and I got on really well there and was lucky enough to be given a graduate position at the end, which obviously I very much accepted. So I was in the very fortunate position that by the time I graduated, I had a job ready and waiting for me. So I literally packed my bags, flew to Qatar, and here I am still nearly 7 years later. So for my time at Vodafone, I actually worked in HR and I was responsible for talent and development. So by the time I came to leave in March last year, I was their talent lead. So my main role was looking after the annual performance appraisal, and then on top of that I looked after all of our development programs for high potential employees, and I also looked after the graduate program, which for me was my kind of favourite part of the position. I think given that I joined the company as a graduate, I kind of understood what the gaps in the program were and what fresh graduates were going to be looking for coming out of university. So I felt in a very privileged position actually to be working with the graduates, and I'm still in touch with all of them now, which is lovely. I really enjoy seeing how their careers are progressing. But yeah, Vodafone was a huge learning journey for me, and I really learnt a lot working there. But in March last year, I joined Siemens as HR business partner. So Siemens in Qatar has about 550 employees, and I'm responsible for about 350 of those from a HR perspective. So it's called Field HR. So I mainly advise the business, and I kind of see my position as my job is to make their lives easier. So it's very different to Vodafone, which my position is very much project based. In Siemens, it's not at all. It's much more about the requests that come in from the business. So I may go into work with a plan, but I can promise you that by 10 a.m. that plan will have gone out the window, and instead I will be running around like a headless chicken trying to get to all my meetings on time, and dealing with whatever requests come in that day. But it's very, very interesting. It's mainly, again, dealing with performance, making sure that the employees are getting the right support from their managers, dealing with restructurings, all of that kind of thing. So for me, I find it very, very beneficial and rewarding. And not only do you get to have a really, really good insight into all the different business areas, which you might not get if you're working in a different area, but you also get to interact with all the employees on a day-to-day basis, which again, I'm a people person, so I like chatting. So HR is a very, very good fit for me. But I think the key skills you need to have if you're looking at going into HR is, number one, communication. You have to be very, very clear at communicating with employees and also with senior management. And time management is also vital when it comes to HR, because like I said, you get different requests coming in 24/7, and you have to be able to deal with those requests in a timely manner, to make sure that the business runs smoothly. But yeah, so my piece of advice would be, like I said, get as much work experience as you possibly can. because it's really what recruiters look for. Don't stress too much about grades. As I said, I was a terrible student when I was at school, and although I think I'm kind of a bit of a special case, it's not done me too much harm. Don't panic about not knowing what you want to do as a job. I didn't know, and I've turned out all right in terms of my career. And yeah, when it comes to going to interviews, whether it's for an internship, whether it's for a proper full-time job, always make sure that you show willing, always make sure you do your research about the company beforehand, and always kind of make sure that you engage properly with the recruiter, that you ask lots of questions. There is nothing worse from a recruitment perspective, having an interview with somebody who just sits there quietly, and it's like getting blood out of a stone when it comes to making conversation. Make sure you put the effort in, make sure that you show that you're willing to work in lots of different areas and get as much experience as you can. That's the number one thing recruiters look for. It's kind of enthusiasm and the right attitude. You know, if you haven't got the right skills, it doesn't matter, because you can learn those on the job. The most important thing is having the right attitude and the right mindset, to learn and develop yourself. So yeah, those would be my bits of advice, but I wish you all the luck, and good luck with your university applications and any future jobs you're looking for in the future. Thank you for listening.